Hello, I am muhammed.alshehaby. In this video we will go through the Lightroom Classic program. I will explain all the required panels for you in order to master editing your photos. Also how to create your own photo editing presets, how to fix the red eye in your pictures, and how to do the right color corrections. After this video you will turn your photo into a professional work. This is the interface of the program. To start working with the Lightroom, you need to create a catalog first. And to do so, go to File, then choose New Catalog. Choose where you want to save it. Let's say on my desktop. I will give it a name Lightroom Tutorial. And once you hit Create, the program will close and reopen again. Here's the folder you just created. Go back to the Lightroom. Now we need to import our picture or albums to start our editing. To see this import button here, you will have to be on the library menu. And today we'll go in details only with both library and develop menu, as they are the most important for our photo editing process. However, the rest of this menu bar will be explained in details in separate tutorials. Go ahead and click on the import button. Look for your source folder or your photos. I have them in my desktop, Lightroom folder, then images folder. Those are the images I'm gonna use in this video. And as you see, all the images come with the check mark on them, as they are all selected to be imported. If you want to get certain photos, you can click on Uncheck All, and you can start selecting your desired images manually. In my case, I want to import them all, so I will just click here on All Photos or Check All. If for some reason you couldn't find your folder in this drop menu in here, you can go to this icon, add network volume, click on it and start looking for your folder. You can also use another method to import your images by drag and drop. Then eventually hit import. Here are my pictures. A few things you need to keep your eyes on in this library preview. From the thumbnails slider, you can increase or decrease the view of your photos. Also, you have a grid view option or a single view. You can go through your images one at a time by clicking on whichever image you want from here. I will set it back to a grid option. Another thing in the library preview is the quick develop section. If you want to do a fast or simple edit to your photo without having to jump into the develop menu, if you need to fix the white balance in this photo, here it's set to as shot. If you want the program to fix it for you, just go with auto. See now how the white balance changed on your image. Or if you want to customize it manually and start adjusting your options here by increasing or decreasing. Those here are just simple options for a quick develop or a fast edit. However, there is much more in the develop menu, which we are gonna talk about in details in a few. Here we have different pictures. We have natural photos. We have kids, male, female, and we have red eye picture. I can organize my images here and add something called rating to them. Select the male model and just press on number 1 from your keyboard to give it a rating 1. And I will do the same with all the male models pictures here. Select the image, then press on number 1 from your keyboard again. If you notice here, there is a star on the picture, which means rated 1. Now I will select the female model picture and give them rating 2 by selecting the image and pressing on number 2 from my keyboard. You see the image got 2 stars here. I will select the kid's image and give them a rating 3 by following the same method as before. I will give the natural image a rating 4, then the red eye picture rating 5. This way I categorize all the images I have here, start from 1 and up to 5. Now ask me how to benefit from this. If you go to this filter section, if it was not open and locked this way, just click on it. You have all your 5 stars in here, but how to use them? See this little symbol here? Just click on it and activate it first, then click on it again to open more options. It is set here on rating is greater than or equal to. I will choose rating is equal to. All the faults disappeared here because I have 0 stars selected. If you just clicked on 1 star, the program will show all the images that got 1 star or rating 1. If you chose 2 stars, the program will show all the images that got 2 stars or rating 2. And so on for 3, 4 or 5 stars. This way you can choose which image or category you want to see in case if you are working in a huge album. And to see all your photos back again, change your rating option to greater than or equal to. And then choose 1 star. And that's pretty much what we need from the library preview. And it's time to jump to develop menu, where we have most of our editing. It says no photo selected. Start to select the image you want to edit. You have 4 sections in this interface. There is the left section, the preview panel here in the middle, and then the right section where you have all the develop options, and then you have this bottom section where you have all your images. I'm gonna start here with the left section. First of all, from this tiny arrow here, you can show or hide this section. And same goes for the right section too. And once you hover with your mouse over the arrow, the program automatically will open the panel for you. And you can choose whichever option you want to do. And once you move over with your mouse, the program will close the section again. However, if you want to fix it, just click on the arrow again. On top of this section, I have the navigator panel. It shows the selected image. And if you hover with your mouse on a different image, the preview in here will change accordingly. We have options here. First is fit, and the program fits the image in the preview section. If you want to expand the image to cover all the whole area, just choose fill. And if you want to enlarge certain part of the image, just click on it. There is more option from the drop menu here. You see that the preview got bigger. You can try those options here and see what's good for you. Second panel in this section here is presets. A bunch of presets come with the program. Let's say we'll choose the cool light preset. Just click on it, and you will see the sliders in the develop section. It change accordingly. You have a lot of options for black and white, and you can always add or edit this preset. Try to change the exposure. Also the contrast, give it a tint, decrease the saturation a bit. If you like the preset after customizing it and you want to use it in a different picture, you don't have to redo everything again. Just click here on copy. In this window they ask you whichever option you want to copy. You can select whichever you want. I usually select all of them. Then hit copy. Select the second image and you can just hit paste and you will get the same effect. Just note this method here works best if you have multiple photos that shot in the same condition or in the same environment. Otherwise you might get a different result. Or if you want to save this preset in case if you want to close this catalog and open another one, you can click on that symbol here in the preset bar and you choose create preset. You choose the option that you want to keep. Give it a name. You choose a group for it if you have multiple presets groups. Then hit create. If you want to the end of the preset panel, you will find user preset and you will find your outdoor preset in here. The other panel I need from here is the history, and it's a very important panel. Check the history for this image. You have imported this image on this day, and then you have all the effects you have done today in this image. If you clicked on exposure, that means you have deselected any effects you have done after the exposure. You are only activating until the exposure effect. And so on. If you clicked on contrast, anything below is active, anything above is inactive. And that's a very important panel in case if you want to go back a few steps or if you want to remove some certain effects. Now to the right section and develop panel, where we have most of our editing sources. On top of this panel, here we have histogram, and it shows you the white balance in your picture. If you hold and move with your mouse, you can adjust the white color. And from this little box here, if you checked it, you can see all the overexposed area. All those areas here got too much light. You can hold and move with your mouse to decrease and fix those areas. Below it I have an important bar with some options. First here is the crop and shortcut R. Pretty sure you are familiar with this crop option. Next to it is the spot removal, and it works exactly like the clone stamp tool in Photoshop. Let us try to remove this clip here beside her elbow. I can enlarge the image for a better view. And with your mouse, hold and move to cover the area you want to hide or remove. The program now will take a replacement from this area. If you want to change, just hold this bar and move it to whichever part you think it fits best. Then click OK. And at any time if you want to edit a picture in the Photoshop, I will go Ctrl Z first. Now just right click on the image and go to edit in, then choose the Photoshop. In this window you have three options. The program here is asking you if you want to open a copy with the adjustments you have just finished in the Lightroom, or open another copy without those adjustments, or to edit the original. I will just choose edit a copy without the adjustments. And you will have a copy of this image here, and now you start opening the Photoshop. Again, I'm gonna try to remove this clip here beside her elbow. I will get the healing spot tool, reduce my brush size, and go over this clip here that I want to remove. And the program will do the work for you. Then save it. Now back to the Lightroom. Now the image is ready for you to edit it, and the clip is gone. Next to it, here is the red eye correction. Just click and drag with your mouse. Start adjusting the size of your pupil. Or you can use the slider here to adjust the size of the pupil, as well as the darken. Then I will just follow the same steps and same values for the other eye. Next to the red eye correction, we have the graduate filter and shortcut M. If you just click and drag with your mouse over the picture, you would add a gradient color on this part of your image. And if you want to see how the gradient looks like, just activate this option here, Show Selected Mask Overlay. You can see the size and how far you reach with your gradient. Now we need to adjust or edit this gradient, and to do so, first of all, uncheck this option again, as this option here only shows you how the gradient looks like. If you're gonna change the color temp, go towards the cold colors like blue, increase the tint, decrease the exposure, increase the contrast. Same time, you can hold and move the gradient selection and place it wherever you want in your image. Then click Done. This is here the gradient color you got. If you press on the slash button on your keyboard, that one underneath your backspace, you can see before and after. I will reset my image and go to the next tool here, the radial filter and shortcut Shift M. It acts the same like the graduate filter, except you can add the gradient within a shape. Check this option here to see how your gradient looks like. Then uncheck it again to start editing your gradient. Same method like before. You have the feather option to smoothen the gradient. Then hit Done. And if you want to reverse the gradient to make it inside the shape instead of the outside, just click that invert option here. Last option here is the brush tool, and it does exactly the same like the graduate and radial filters, except that you do this manually. I'm gonna activate this option here in order for me to see what I'm doing, and with the brush I will start to paint this area. Uncheck this option again and I will start editing my brush, same as before. Same method, same option, except you are adding this color tone manually. Now we're done with this part. I'm gonna start our next panel of basic. But before I start, if you don't see all the panels in this section, just right click on any panel and select show all. And if you want to customize it again, right click and choose to customize. Here you can choose whichever panel you would like to see and whichever ones you want to hide. And that pretty much depends on your work and your preference. I'm gonna keep them all for now as I'm gonna explain each one of them in this video. Another way to customize this section, right click and you will see that I'm on solo mode here, which means I can only have one panel open. Once I open another panel, the previous panel will automatically close. If you uncheck this option, you can open all the panels if you want to. But I always like the solo mode so that I can only open one panel at a time. The call is yours. Now with our basic panel, first thing in here is to choose whether you want your image to be color or to be black and white. I will leave it on colors. After that you have the white balance option and it's set as shot. You can choose auto and that tells the program to fix the white balance in your image automatically. I will go Ctrl Z to continue with our options. With the temp slide here, you can move it to the right towards what we call the warm colors, such as yellow, or to the left towards what we call the cold colors, such as blue. With the tint slider here, you can give your image an overlay tint. The exposure slider, control how much your image will be exposed to the light. Contrast slider, I will increase it a bit. Next group we have highlights, shadows, whites and blacks. Adjust each slider according to your image to get the best result you want. Now go up again to the profile bar and click here on the grid menu to show the profile browser. You can choose to see all the options or just colors or just black and white option. Here you have a lot of color preset options that you can choose from, and they have been all categorized for your convenience. There are 8 options in the artistic category. Just hover with your mouse on any option to see it in the preview. Another category of black and white, and it got 17 options for you. Modern category with 10 options. And the last category, vintage, with another 10 options for you. Very useful and handy options that could make your photo editing a lot easier. And if you are done, just click on close to close this browser. And that was it for the basic panel. Next to our tone curve panel, you've got here the RGB colors options. With that line here, you can move it up or down to adjust all the colors together. Or if you want to adjust just one color, Let's say the blue. As we have blue in this image, just select it and start adjusting. And you can also make separate points on that line to control and adjust certain areas. Like I will add one point on the top, another in the middle, another one in the bottom. Now if you want to move the top point, you're more likely adjusting the right top part of the image, which got the blue ocean. Now I will select the green color and add a point here at the bottom and start adjusting the left side of the image, which got the green grass. And with the slash key again on your keyboard, that one underneath your backspace, you can press on it to check before and after. Or from the panel itself, you can turn the adjustments on or off. That image here looks much better after the tone curve adjustments. I will reset this image and go down to the HSL color or hue, saturation and luminance. We can work in each category separately. I will activate the saturation option to start increasing my blue, as we have an ocean in this image. I will increase the green option a little bit to highlight the grass area a little bit more. I will select the hue and increase my green a little more. Also the blue. And from the luminance, it increases or decreases the amount of light in each color. See here, if I decrease the blue, it's getting darker, as I'm removing the lights from the blue. And if I moved it to the right, it will lighten the color even more. Now we can check the before and after from the panel itself. Big difference. I will reset my image and move forward to a split toning. And it separates the highlights from the shadows to control each one at a time. To see the effect you are making with the hue, you have to increase the saturation a little bit first. Then you can adjust the highlights hue. Also, you can choose the highlight color or the tint you want from here. Then adjust both hue and saturation accordingly. I will take the balance down a little bit. And same for the shadows. And that was it for the split toning. I will reset my image. Next panel here is detail. I have sharpening and noise reduction sections in here. I will choose another model and enlarge the view on her face. The amount of sharpening here shows how much details you want to show in your picture. And here you can see it very clear on the model's face. So a small amount of sharpening here is good enough. Next is the noise reduction. The luminance option here takes out the noise of the picture if there is any, and at the same time increases the light in your image. If you have a close shot on a model's face, that would be a good option for you. Just make sure you don't silken the skin too much, so it would still look realistic. Next panel is lens correction, and it got two options. First, remove chromatic aberration, and it's also called chromatic distortion. And what does that mean? Is some lenses fail to focus all colors to the same point, and you start seeing some lines in your image or some separated colors. By checking that option, you will be fixing those issues. And from Enable Profile Correction, some lenses could distort the edges of your image, or add some unwanted dark colors at your edge, and this option would fix it for you. Next panel here is the Transform, and frankly speaking, I'm not a big fan of this panel. It gives you some option to transform your image, either vertically or horizontally, rotating, X offset or Y offset. Next is Effects, and it got some cool stuff in here. First is Vignetting. From the Amount slider, move it to the right to get the white vignetting. You see it here in the corners. Or move it to the left to get the black vignetting or shadows on your image corner. I love this option. You can adjust the size from the midpoint. Also the roughness and the feather. Then the grain option. I will enlarge my image a bit to see it clearly. Adjust the amount of grain, size and roughness. This grain looks better on a black and white pictures. What do you think? Let me try this image black and white. Now to our last panel, Calibration. We've got some sections here, shadows, then the red, green and blue colors. You can get your own color tone from here, adjusting each color at its own to get the tone that matches your picture the best. Last thing for us here today is to export our catalog after editing our pictures. And to do so, make sure you go back to Library Preview. Then you will see the export button here. All you need to do is just select your image and then hit export. In this window, you choose where you want to save your picture. Put it in a subfolder if you wish so. Make sure the quality is 100. Select the image format. Make sure resolution is 300 pixels per inch. Here you have an option to add a watermark to your image. And if you want to, just click this box here and you choose Edit Watermark. And it will open another window for you. Add the watermark you want in this section. And from the other options here, adjust your watermark in your picture, then hit save. Then finally hit export. And here is your image after exporting. Back to the program. If you want to export all the pictures, just select all of them, then hit export again. I already have image number 7 on my desktop, so I can rename it or just overwrite it. The program is exporting all my images. That was everything for today. We went through more than the basics in the Lightroom program. The rest of the menu will be given in separate videos, so stay tuned.